Hi everybody, Lisa from Supportive Tarot, and I am bringing us a brand new tarot tag because, again, why not? So I came up with this idea and we'll just see if anybody's into it. I'm into it because it's a way to show my collection and sort of rank decks that I like. The tarot tag is called #TarotKnockouts, and here's how it works. You get a bowl with a bunch of pieces of paper with the names of all your decks, or I'm using a random name generator app on my phone with all my decks listed. I'm going to pick two at a time, and they go head to head, and I'll let you know which one is my favorite. When I have only half my decks left, then I'll do it again, and so forth. And depending on how long this takes to go through the first whittling down, this might be in a couple different videos, or I might just knock it all out right now. We'll see how it goes. I don't want this to be crazy long, so I'm guessing probably in pieces. But I want to get started right away because I'm super excited and I've got all my decks and they're kind of alphabetized around me to make it easier to find them. I'm going to be showing them as I go at least a little bit because that's fun and I like show and tell. But if you have a really big collection and just want to talk about your decks and pull names, or maybe just pick your top 20 and then narrow them down, or whatever you want to do, I would love for you to participate in whatever way you want. There's no hard and fast rules, just like make it yours. But I'm going to get, oops, my app tried to start already. I'm going to get started. So let's see if this will show up on camera. I'm going to hit this little choose button. Oh, that way. I have the Star Tarot versus Prisma Visions. Oh, it's starting me out with a tough combo. So my Prisma Visions deck is, where is it? I've already lost it. I did it alphabetical for the reason that I wouldn't lose them. There it is. Prisma Visions is the deck that came out in this beautiful box. This deck, this is a really pretty deck that I lusted after for a long time. And I didn't get it right away when it first came out. It's got the beautiful silver gilding on the sides. This one's gorgeous. The artwork is really pretty and it reminds me of Impressionist art. I don't know if that's actually what it gets to be called, but that's what it reminds me of. And yeah, it's really, really pretty. This is the one where if you lay out a suit, like the suit of wands, it makes a really pretty scene with a bit of a story. I need to spend more time getting to know this deck. The other deck that it's up against, though, is the Star Tarot. Nope, that one's going to be in a starry bag. Starry bag, where are you? Ah, there we go. S's are on this side of me, apparently. So the Star Tarot, I have trimmed this deck down. I haven't edged it yet. Wow, this one is one of those decks. There's a lot of gloss. This is one of those decks that I find to be really potent. I feel like it has a lot to say. And there's a lot to pull symbology-wise from every single card. I think for me this is probably going to have to be the one that wins. So I'm going to stick my winner on one side of me, and I'm going to stick the loser on the other side. So winner's over here, and it's not really a loser. I love you. I still love you. Yeah, I have issues. Okay, that's going to go over there. And it's time for our next two names. Alrighty, so next ones are Everyday Witch versus the Wildwood. Oh, that's mean. Those are both kind of pagan-y witchy decks. Oh, that's kind of mean. Alright, let me pull out the Wildwood first because I found it first. So I've also trimmed this deck. This is this deck, when it came out of the box, man, it was already kind of warped, but I love the earthy, pagan, to me very pagan, woodsy, earth-based, spiritual. I love these. These are gorgeous. This is another deck that I really feel like I don't know well enough yet, and I want to get to know it better. I'm great with most of the cards, but then the court cards come up, and if it's an animal whose energy I'm not super familiar with, I get a little bit lost. I'm starting to learn, and other animal decks have really helped with that, but yeah, I love this deck. Okay, Wildwood versus Everyday Witch. My Everyday Witch deck, though, guys, I don't know. I don't know what I'm going to do. I love the backings of this deck. This deck has such a fun, playful vibe. It's like modern and witchy, but also kind of medieval, depending on what card you're looking at. I love this. I really, really love this deck, too. I think just because I know this deck better, I think I'm going to go with this one. And it's only because I think I've had more time to get to know this particular deck. So, winners to my left and losers to my right. My camera preview screen is acting really funny, so we'll see how this video goes. I might have to play it back and see how it turned out. Let's just see, though, how we do. Alrighty, so the next decks are Shadowscapes versus Legend the Arthurian Tarot. Oh boy. So I have my Shadowscapes here. Shadowscapes is beautiful. All my decks are beautiful. I don't even know. I'm just going to say that about every deck. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Yeah. Oh, I love, you know, I'm not a spider person, but that's a really great spider, I gotta say. I really like it. I like it a lot. The complaint I have is what everybody else has, and that is that these cards are small for the artwork. I have the app so that I can zoom in. This is a really incredible deck for path working. Oh, I love this deck. Okay. So what were my choices? Shadowscapes versus Legend the Arthurian. Okay. So Legend the Arthurian. It's another purple bag. It's another purple deck. This one is really cool. It is really cool, but I can probably tell you right away that while I'm happy that I have it, if I had to choose between this one and Shadowscapes, Shadowscapes definitely wins. This one's cool because of the Arthurian tie-in, but it is not a deck that I habitually reach for. So, Shadowscapes goes in the winner's pile, and sorry Arthurian, you're out. This is fun. I like it. I hope you guys like it. Alright, next one. Deviant Moon versus Spirit Song. Oh, that's not even fair because they're so different. Oh, it's still hollering at me. Oh, it's told me what my next ones are, so I better pull these out. So this one, and this one doesn't have a home yet because I don't have the right bag yet. Hopefully Peggy's going to make one that is perfect. So Deviant Moon, I have the borderless. And this is really new for me. I was all about, nope, this deck is not for me. The images are too intense. They've got that sort of really, I don't know how to describe this deck. I called it creepy for a long time, but having touched it and handled it, I don't call it creepy. I actually love this Three of Pentacles card because you can clearly see that all the figures are helping each other. And I mean, it's still, like, objectively I would call this creepy, but I get it. Like, it talks to me. This deck is talkative, and I think that's what, I think that's why I eventually just had to pull the trigger on it. It just, yeah, I'm really glad I own this deck. All right. But again, the bold artwork, I think colors are super important to me. I think that's what I'm learning about my aesthetic with tarot. Okay, I gotta stop looking at it. This one up against Spirit Song by Paulina Cassidy. Did I say her name right? I hope so. I'll check the box in a second. I'm gonna tell you right now. I'm gonna show it to you, but Deviant Moon's gonna win. I have to get it out of this box, though. I hate tuck boxes. Deviant Moon, or not, yeah, so Deviant Moon's winning. But I'm going to show you this really quickly, just in case you haven't seen it. It's a Spirit Song deck, and it is Paulina Cassidy. I remembered that correctly. This one is really lovely. The artwork is busy. I still love it. And I love the keywords, and that's actually a bone of contention for a lot of people, but I love the keywords. I love it. And I love that it's animals, but that it's also associated with the suits and the arcana of the tarot, major arcana of the tarot. I feel like it's a functional deck. I don't like this for large spreads. It's not versatile to me in that way, at least not yet, because I find it overwhelming to look at in a large spread. The pictures bleed into each other, Like the colors are all the same. They vary a little bit. They're very light. And because they're very light, I feel like I can only really use this for daily pulls, like single card pulls, or small spreads, like 3, maybe 4 cards would probably be the most I would want to do with this deck. Because of the versatility, even though I love this, this is very nurturing, but because of the versatility, Deviant Moon definitely has to win. So that's these two out. Got Deviant Moon, and we got No More Spirit Song, and it's pitting me now against Sun and Moon and Magical Forest. So I have the Sun and Moon deck, ironically, in a Sun and Moon bag. I'll do a tour of my bags. I've mentioned that, but I will do that in the future, so you can see kind of how I matched everything up. This one is by Vanessa DeCourt. I don't know if I'm saying, I love, again, see, look, it's bold images again. Like, what is it with me? And what is this pitted against? Oh no, it's pitted against Magical Forest. Oh no, they both got bold colors. I can't use that as an excuse. I will say that this is my only real, at least I think it's my only real Thoth-based deck. I think Star and Marielle both have Thoth influence for sure. Actually, Star might be fairly Thothy. I have to look. But I love how clear and easy to read this is. And I also like the little white book that comes with this is no bigger than a regular little white book, but the descriptions are really good. Vanessa, in a very small paragraph, manages to describe the important symbology in every card. I feel like she does a really good job of that. So this is fun for working with astrology. I think it's going to win against the Magical Forest, but the Magical Forest would have won against something else, I'm sure of it. I'm going to show it really quickly. Magical Forest is, my version is trimmed. It's super cute. Mine's all mixed up with upright and reverse right now. I don't know why. I must have shuffled it weird when I had it out last. These characters are adorable. I love this deck. Again, super easy to read, very Rider-Waite-Smith, but with its own personality. It gets a little cheeky, gets a little sassy. I like it. But, do I need to change my mind? I think this might... I really like Sun and Moon though, but you know what? I think I love this more than Sun and Moon. I'm gonna change my mind. This one's gonna be the winner, guys. This one's gonna be the winner. Yep, it's gonna be the winner. Gotta be. So this one's gonna go over there, and oh no, Tracy's. Yeah, that's the winner. Oh, you know what? I instinctively put this in the losing pile. Yep, sure did. Let's see what we got next. Hey, I'm 12.5 minutes in, and I've only got, you know, a few more decks to go through. Let's see what comes up. Okay. Chrysalis versus Anna K. Oh. The problem is I like all my decks. I mean, not that that's a problem. I think that's fantastic, but okay. Anna K first. This is probably one of my very favorite depictions. I mean, almost all my decks are Rider-Waite-Smith, so I shouldn't say it that way, but of the decks that I think stick closer to the original picture? No, that's not right. I don't know. This is my favorite in some categories. I just don't know what those categories are right this moment, but I love it. I love the emotions. I really feel like I can climb into any one of these scenes. This would be, I haven't done it yet, but this would be an excellent deck for pathworking, just to speak to some of these characters and see what's going on in the room or in the space where they are. Yeah, okay, this is a really good one. And this is up, where's my Chrysalis at? Chrysalis, you're in a butterfly bag. There you are. With the C's, that makes sense, right? I did alphabetize for a reason. This is a deck that I'm still learning. It really does deviate from the meanings I'm familiar with, which makes it a little more, it's a little more time consuming for me to work with, is probably the best way to put it. I really have to sink myself into my intuition to see what I'm picking up. I can't just pick up the obvious and then dig deeper after that. Like, I kind of have to dig from the beginning. Does that make sense? Some cards I can just go, oh yeah, okay, so that's that card. take the first bit of hit I get just from the basic meaning, and then I can dig into the image, or the other way around. But with these, I don't have that same basic meaning to quickly drop into. I think between the two, just because I haven't had as much time to get to know this one, if I had to pick one right now, it would be Anna K. It would be Anna K. So Anna K gets to go in the winner's pile. Alrighty. Let's see what my phone says is next. Alrighty. What does that say? Wild Unknown versus Osho Zen. That's not fair. I mean, we all know what I'm going to do, but that's not fair. I really, really love both those decks. I don't think I even really need to show these, but I'm gonna really quickly. So my Wild Unknown, I'll show you a few images. I have edged mine in black. Let's see if I can figure out how to hold these. I mean, you know them, right? You know them. They're so recognizable. They're so clear. They have so much to say. They're pippish, but they felt like a real bridge deck for me in a way. I'm still just getting ready to dive into pips a little bit more, and yeah, I love this one. But, I mean, it's my beloved Osho Zen. It was probably going to win against anything it got pitted against. It would have been interesting to see if there was a deck that could challenge it. So that was a worthy contender. Wild Unknown, you were worthy, but I got to go with Osho Zen. I'll show you a couple images. I'll show you a couple images from my Osho Zen here. Look what's on top, my favorite. Two of Cups, probably because that's the one I was talking about in my last video. I mean, there's no contest. I've had it too long. It's part of myself. Could never part with it. Could never. Alrighty, we're trucking right along here, guys. I think I can do this. Let's just see. All right, now I have Bonefire and Game of Thrones. Oh, this one's mean too. This is a problem when you like all your decks. Okay. I have my Game of Thrones in a box, so let me just pull these out. Let me remind myself. And the Bonefire. Alright. You know, I like these guys. This deck shuffles. So good. I feel like I've talked about that already. I probably have. I think I told the story. Yeah, I did tell the story in my live chat. This deck shuffles so good. It does really, really talk to me. It does really talk to me. Oh, I love it. I'm cringing because I know I love Bonefire also. And I know this isn't an independent deck. I know it's mass produced. I'm not gonna let that be the thing though. That's not fair. I'm going to look at the Bonefire. I did not get this when it was independently published. I did get it once it was mass produced, so mine is the glossy version, which I don't mind. I think it makes the colors pop. Kind of sad I didn't jump on this when it was an indie deck. Well, I mean, it's still an indie deck, but before it was mass produced. You know what? Again, I think the colors might actually be what tips me over the edge. I love the bright, vivid artwork. And I really love pulling this deck for some love and romance readings, particularly ones where I feel like there's a lot of passion, or the question is a passionate one, where there's a lot of emotion. I don't know how to say it, but sometimes I get a question from a client and I'm like, yeah, we need to pull out the really passionate deck. And this is one that I reach for when it's a really emotional question. I think there's a lot to pull from. I think there's a lot of really good stuff to chew on here. Tons of symbols. Yeah. Yep. Okay. Talked myself into it. Bonfire is the winner. Bonfire goes in the winner's pile. Sorry, Game of Thrones. I still love you. All right. Let's see what's next. Oh, we're almost 20 minutes in. I better speed it up. All right. Who do we got? Mythic versus Healing Light. Oh. Well, let's look at Mythic. And then we'll look at Healing Light next. I should pull it out though so I don't lose track of which one I'm doing. Okay. Oh, you know, I have the original Mythic, which I got, I purchased from somebody used, I think on Craigslist. I found somebody who was selling their copy, and thankfully it did not smell too old. You know how you get stuff used, it smells a little old. I started with some lavender for a bit just to make sure, but I do have a copy of the new Mythic, and I am not a fan. I really love the mythology, and I like the style of art in this deck. I love that it's associated with the Greek mythology, which I love. Lots to dig into here. I don't know, man. It's pretty. Also, it's harder to get again, so that should be... No, I said I wasn't going to make that be a factor. I'm not going to do it. That's cheating. It's cheating for me. You do you, however you want to do if you participate. So the Healing Light is an underrated deck, and somebody just posted about that on Facebook, and I need to list this one because I think this is a really lovely deck. This one's by Lo Scarabeo, and nobody really talks about it. I actually was torn between this one and the one by, I'm going to forget his name now. I think it's called Tarot of the Spirit. The one that's also silhouettes. This is a silhouette-y deck. And that's actually the main reason why I picked it up, because I wanted a deck where people, especially one that had a little bit more of a masculine vibe to it, where clients or people could picture themselves in the scenes. The bonus for me is these, I forget what they're called, but these places where the rings intersect that highlight particular points in each card. This one's really pretty, and I think it's really unique. That always looks like a spider to me at first glance, but it's not. It's like a goddess figure with all the hands, like a Shakti sort of. Maybe not Shakti, but that kind of a goddess. I really do love this one, and the colors are really pretty and vivid. You know what? I think if I had to pick one to keep and one to lose, even though Mythic is beautiful and has its own place, I feel like this one, again, it has more versatility, kind of like when I pitted the Deviant Moon against that other deck. I just feel like Deviant Moon was against Spirit Song. Yeah. Similar idea. I feel like this one is so much more versatile. And I don't have many decks that I feel like are really good, specifically good for reading with men, and I do think this is one of them. I mean, it's good for all genders, but I think that it's easier for men to see themselves in a lot of these scenes. And I do think the fact that it's silhouettes is really helpful. And not all the characters are silhouetted. Some you can see faces, but for the most part, they're very nondescript. And I like that. All right, yeah. So I think Healing Light's going to be the winner. And I never thought in a million years that that would be the case, because I do adore my Mythic Tarot. But this one is really unique. I don't have anything else like it. It kind of fills a niche in my collection. So this one's got to win. All right. Winner. Not winner. Sorry. Sorry, Mythic. I feel so guilty for putting aside my other decks. All right. Who do we got next? Crystal Unicorn and Art of Life. So I can't show you my Art of Life. It is the perfect desk tarot because it's got a box that actually pops up into a little picture frame and you can slide your card of the day in. I do that every single day at my job. I love having a piece of art to look at and a quote that makes me think of the energy of that particular card. Ironically, and this just goes to show that tarot is amazing, I almost always pull Pentacles cards at work. So there's a good portion of the deck I haven't really seen that much, at least yet. So there you go. I love it, but Crystal Unicorn, I mean, so you'll come to know if you don't already, and I know I've mentioned it, I think in my live chat, I am a unicorn fanatic. You can't see it yet. I'll have to introduce it at some point, but literally beside me I have a For Real unicorn that was on the Ellen show, the one that's like robotic and talks. I literally have that on my nightstand. I love unicorns. Love, love, love. I've loved them my whole life. I love them. I really love them. So this is going to be the winner. If I had to give up Art of Life, I would miss it on my desk, but I would get another deck. It wouldn't be a big deal. I don't use it to read with. This one I definitely can. It's Rider-Waite imagery, but with cute little unicorns in all the spots of the original figures. The artwork is pastel and lovely. The cardstock is heavenly to touch. It's like smooth and matte. And I haven't edged it yet, but I'm probably going to edge it in, what's the backings? I'm probably going to edge it in like that turquoisey color. Maybe a bright yellow if I have a good one, or or maybe that baby pink. I don't have a good lavender, I don't think, but still gotta edge that one. But this one is beautiful. This one's the winner for sure. Pamela Chen did such a beautiful job with this deck. I got the very first batch from the Indiegogo campaign. It was very affordably priced. I'm thrilled. And it's in a great bag. It says, I believe in unicorns. So, yeah, keeping. Where did my loser go? What was Crystal Unicorns against? I have literally the shortest memory ever. Oh, Art of Life. I didn't have it. That's why it's not in the loser pile. All right, next. Oops. What do we have? Starchild versus Dreams of Gaia. Ooh, those are decks I use for very similar purposes. So that's, let's see. Dreams of Gaia has turned the tarot structure on its head a little bit. It has definitely played with the majors. There's a different structure in the majors. There's a different structure in the court cards. But the guidebook for this deck is phenomenal, as is the artwork. And this and the Guardian Tarot are probably the first two that I reach for really important readings for myself. So if I have an important issue, especially one that's psychological, that's related to my personal or spiritual growth, that's related to self-care or relationships that are, this deck is so good with psychological readings. It's good. It's really good. And I really love actually sinking my teeth into the guidebook on this one. I love intuitive hits off of it, but the guidebook feels like I have in the guidebook a personal counselor or therapist. And I don't say that lightly. I know that that's it for me. But obviously if you need a counselor or therapist, you should be seeing one and not relying on the tarot. But for me, it's like that. It's like a comfortable friend, but one that has a lot of wisdom. Maybe that's a better analogy than a therapist. But it just feels very, very nurturing. Anyways, sinking in, and I can't do that because this video will be 1,000,000 hours long. That's the Dreams of Gaia. And that is up against the Star Tarot, which is another one. It's in a starry bag. I feel like I've said this before. Starry bag, starry bag. Did I already? It's already in my pile, and I don't know if that's because I had a problem filming the first time, or did my app fail me? Well, either way, I'm going to do it. This is a trimmed deck. The borders on this were ginormous. I had to trim it. I trimmed it the second I took it out of its package. I didn't even shuffle it the first time. I was just like, insta trim. I still have to edge it. It's still white on the sides. It trimmed down beautifully though. This is another one I'm pretty sure that is kind of thothy, and I do love it, but unfortunately I haven't had as much time to get really intimately familiar with this deck as I have with the Dreams of Gaia. So Dreams of Gaia is the clear winner here, although this is beautiful and I don't want to actually give it up, but Dreams of Gaia wins. So Star over there and Dreams of Gaia over here. How we doing? We're getting there. All right. So I have my Marseille deck versus the Zombie Tarot. Admittedly, I have not played with my Marseille at all. I started a thread in For Love of Cards, the Facebook group, and in that thread specifically said I was looking for people to tell me their favorite pip decks, because I have this deck. This is a really generic, I hope, please, if you are watching and you know which version of the Marseille this is based on, this is what the box looks like. It just says Tarot the Marseille Arcana. It does not list the artist. So I'm a little confused about which version it's supposed to be, and I see the versions being talked about on channels. I think it might be based on CBD. I don't know, man. And I get a little bit lost when I look at pictures online and stuff to try to figure it out. I'll put it up a little closer in case you can recognize. The titles at the bottom are in English. They're not, they say the Pope. They don't say, you know what I mean? They're not whatever other language. Oh, French probably. That would make sense. I don't know anything about the Marseille. I have been meaning to pick up a copy of Tarot on Earth because I think that's what I want to use to learn a little bit more, but I haven't done it yet. I want to love this deck, but I haven't gotten to know it at all. But this one is up against the Zombie Tarot, which is really new for me. So let's just take a look at that. Zombie Tarot is really, really cute. I actually had two decks in this style on my wish list. I had this one and the Housewives Tarot on my wish list for a while. I think after having this one, I don't think I need the Housewives. I think they're similar as far as being like really sassy, playful decks that are funny. And I'm not sure this art is my favorite thing ever, but it's really classy. I know for a zombie tarot, right? Really classy. It's got this like retro vibe to it, so I really enjoy it. This video is already over 30 minutes long, just so you know. I'm gonna try to wrap it up quick. I'm down to not too many more. Anyway, I think actually I'm gonna stick with the Marseille because currently it's my only one. I have a Marshmallow Marseille coming to me, but until that comes in, this one I want to keep because it's the only one I have, and I have other tarot decks. This one's great. It's got a good sense of humor. I haven't got to know it as well yet. So this one goes in with the losers. Oh, I swapped these by mistake. No, I didn't. These are the winners. Oh boy, guys. Yeah, those are definitely the winners. Okay. Phew. Alrighty, so my Marseille, I keep that. That goes over into the winners. And we see what's next. I'm going to make sure this thing isn't going to... Okay. We're down to 8, I think. That can't be right, but we'll see. There might be some missing. Guardian Tarot versus Everyday Enchantments. Oh, okay. All right, let's just do this. We can do this. It's fine. This is actually super fun. I love it. I hope you guys enjoy it. Everyday Enchantments is huge, but I can't look at how big it is. Like it's 2 hands. You can't even see my hand behind this deck, and I've got big hands. I haven't been able to bring myself to trim the borders, but I'm probably going to have to because these are giant. They're very busy. They're very, very modern, but they're also diverse and expressive and tell a really clear story. I love this deck. It can be, I feel like if I trim it, this is my concern, I feel like if I trim it, it's going to be a bit much in big spreads. The borders really contain the artwork, I think, in this case, and they are colored, so they're not as obnoxious as like a white border. I might have to keep it. I have figured out I can rifle shuffle this if I go sideways. Like, I literally take it like that. And like, boop, and then it shuffles that way pretty well. I really do like this one. And Everyday Enchantments is up against who again? Oh, Guardian. Oh, dang it. Okay, well, sorry, Everyday. I don't think you're going to win this one, but let me just look at the images and we'll see. The Guardian Tarot is, I think, it comes up a lot as an underrated deck. The box it came in is beautiful. This was one of those decks that, kind of like the Deviant Moon, I was like, nah, man, I don't need it. But then I held it in my hands, like an actual box copy at a bookstore. I didn't even flip through it, but I held it. And I was like, oh my gosh, like I need this in my life. And the little guidebook, every single one of these cards in the guidebook talks to you the way that she's written. Who's the author of this one? I should probably tell you. Beth Seilonen, S-E-I-L-O-N-E-N. Every single little description gives these cards a very self-care, self-loving slant. So I love this as a very personal deck to pull out for my own readings. And I really thought the figures were a little bit weird at first, but now I just see them as loving, nurturing, tree guardian type people. And it feels really loving every single time I pull cards from this for myself. So I think this one, oh, and I edged this one too. I think this one has to be my winner. Everyday Enchantments is beautiful. I don't really want to give it up. I don't want to give any of these up. But Guardian is perfect for myself anyways. I don't see myself ever reading this deck, using this deck for clients. I could, and if it was requested, I probably would. But it just feels really personal right now. let's see what else we got. And if I have any left, I'll just try to reach over and pick a couple in case I left any out. Okay. Oh, it's my Centennial versus my Fairytale Tarot. Okay, that's gonna probably be no contest. Not even gonna lie. All right, Fairytale Tarot, or sorry, Centennial. I have the Centennial in the tin. This is the only version of a classic or original, I guess, Rider-Waite-Smith deck that I have. I love that I have it. It's an excellent study deck. I love the coloring. I would totally own one of these in full size. I enjoy it. I reach for it all the time, especially as a comparative tool. I love reading with it. It's very easy to read, but I resisted this artwork for decades, literally. So it's a new love for me. And I think I could probably live without it if I had to be honest. But I love it. Right? I'm just not even making any sense. I do like it. I like how portable it is. I love that it comes with a tin, but I'm trying not to use that stuff as criteria. So it's that one against, see, my memory is just gone. Fairytale. Oh, that's why it's no contest. This, you guys, Baba Studio decks. I lust after them. I ogle all of your videos and your photos. But to be honest, I was talking about this in the live chat. A lot of those decks, the Victorian Romantic, the Gothic, all of those, they're not talking to me the way that I expected something that's got that much of a cult following to talk to me. And so I resisted. But recently, I got an email notice from Karen at Baba as part of their email. Like, she didn't email me personally, like she didn't know who I was, but she emailed out saying that she had some seconds. She had some incomplete decks. They were able to complete them and had a few available for sale, and I have never, ever, ever hit a buy button so fast in my life because I'd often looked at the Baba Studios website to see if there were other decks other than the Victorian Romantic that I could see myself wanting to buy or own. And this was the one. Well, there was this one, and there's another, I still forgot to look up the name of it, but there's a Magical Creatures one that came out, but it came out in monochrome or black and white or something like that. And that one I would get that in color. I don't want it in black and white. I'm not a black and white. I like color, like a lot. It's a real deciding thing in some of these head-to-head knockouts that we're doing. Perfect. Okay, I dropped my bag. So that's the winner, and Rider-Waite-Smith is the loser. Not really a loser. I still love you. I really do. Okay. Alrighty. We have Marielle versus Mystic Fairy. I feel like I had Mystic Fairy already, but again, I tried to film this once or twice and had some issues, so Mystic Fairy is here. So I guess I put it back in my pile, so it was from the earlier attempt to film. I'd only done like a couple knockouts and then my camera stalled. It was terrible. This is one of the decks that I've actually had almost as long as my Osho Zen. I got this one almost as soon as it came out. And I love that it's a fairy deck. It's kind of got this fairy garden feel to it. This was obviously, I have not obviously read with this until I made a firm decision that I was going to stop reading reversals from like tarot, basically, because it's all mixed up and shuffled funny. But what I like about this deck is that the minors, I'll show you a couple more cards here, the minors tell a story. So there's a little story that accompanies the Suit of Wands, the Suit of Cups. And I thought, when I first got this, I actually thought that would help me learn the Rider-Waite-Smith or the classical tarot meanings, since my main deck had been the Osho Zen for so long. And it did, and I liked that. It gave me a reference point to sort of understand those original messages. But the color, it's so yellow. It's so yellow. There's not a lot else. So I don't reach for it as often as I used to. I'm hesitant to let it go because I don't think it's as easy to get anymore. I don't know if it's out of print or just not as common. But that one is not gonna. Ooh, I don't even know who it's up against, and I'm ready to put it in the loser pile. How mean is that? Oh, but it's up against Marielle. I mean, come on. It's up against the Marielle. Just goes in the loser pile. Marielle definitely wins. Where'd she go? Where's Marielle? There she is. Marielle it's a no-brainer. I put this in my touchstone or my tarot journey video. This deck completely changed how I like this. Yeah, this was one of the decks that sort of caught my attention in a big way and really brought me into the tarot YouTube community, where I really started watching tons of videos because it was so different. It was turning things on its head. And I was watching, I think the channel name is Sacred Seed. I'll look it up for sure. She had some excellent explanations of these cards, walkthrough, I guess, of the deck that was really good. That magician just blows my mind every freaking time I see it. Most of this deck, that fool is incredible. Most of this deck blows my mind, to be honest. I like that it's not afraid to be exactly what it is. Okay, I can't stop. I can't review every deck. You guys, this video is like 40 minutes now. I'm totally watching the clock. Try to get it in under 45. Let's see if I can do it. Marielle is the clear winner, obviously. Who do we have left? We have Shapeshifter versus Legacy of the Divine. Well, we know I'm probably going to pick Legacy of the Divine because it's another one of my formative tarot journey decks. I showed you a bunch of images from this in my last video, my last not live video. Love Ciro Marchetti. I heard somebody today, it might have been Kelly from The Truth and Story, calling it Ciro Marchetti. I might be saying his name wrong, but beautiful art. Honestly, this compared to Shadowscapes, this one definitely wins, but I will show you Shadowscapes really quickly. This is one that I am really happy to have. I'm bummed that the sword elements are associated with the swords and the element associated with wands has been swapped. So swords in this deck are fire and wands are air, and I might just even need to trim the deck so that I can't see where, I'll show you this. On the card it actually says, so like fire element, swords. Like if I just took that out and pretended this was wands, I'd probably calm down a little about it, but it just like it's in my face all the time that they're swapped, and I'm like hardcore swords, athames, knives. These things are air to me. They've been air to me for 2 decades. I can't change it, but I am so glad I own this deck. I got it. I very luckily stumbled. I'd found a used copy actually. Bought it offline. It came in smelling like smoke. It was in horrible condition. The book was ripped. It was terrible. It was a horrible experience. But literally like 2 weeks after that, I found a new copy still in its original wrap in a bookstore in Seattle, and was so excited that I found a new copy. So I'm glad I have it. I really need to spend more time getting to know it, and I think I need to bite the bullet and trim it, even though it's an out-of-print deck, so that I can actually work with it. You know, I need to be able to work with it. But it can't win at this point against the Legacy of the Divine as it is. So off it goes. And I've got doggies now. They just came in to join. Thanks, honey. They're like, Mommy locked us out again. We don't like it. And they're already leaving again. They just wanted to know that the door would be open. Princesses. Hi, Shayla. Okay, so this one goes over here. Where was my Legacy of the Divine? I already put it in the winning pile because I'm smart like that. All right, only a couple left, and then we're all done. And that's just the first round, and then I'll do the next round in another video because this is clearly super long. Oh, is it still saying? Okay, let's do my next one. Oh, it says I have no more names to choose from, and I clearly have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 decks left. So I'm going to just like randomly touch one and pit it against another one I randomly touch. All right, what do I have? I have, oh, I know what these are. I have Starchild. Oh, the Akashic Borderless Edition. Pretty, 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 brand new for me. I held out on this one for a long time because I didn't think I could read with it. But I got the Work Your Light Oracle and fell in love with the artwork. I didn't think I would like this at all, this artwork. But when you get it up close and you feel it and you get to know it, it's beautiful. So I need to spend some time getting to know this. It's beautifully gilded on the edges. I need to spend some time getting to know it for sure. And for that reason, actually, in this case, I would keep this over my Llewellyn. But I'm going to show you my Llewellyn because it is my purse deck. I actually I was going to get rid of this deck in a trade or in a giveaway or I was going to sell it or I was going to do something. But then I saw Kelly at The Truth and Story had trimmed hers into a teeny tiny little baby deck, and I did the same thing, and I love this for keeping in my purse. My wife made me a really cute little specifically made to fit this deck exactly little pouch for it, so it stays really nice in my purse. So I always have a tarot deck on hand. I mean, I always keep sort of whatever working deck I'm using that week in my bag as well, but this one is small enough to take with me anywhere, even if I'm not using my regular like work bag. Love, 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 but I need to get to know Starchild better, so this one loses. And then I have to touch a couple other decks because I must have not reset my name list well enough after the first couple attempts to film, because there's definitely a few decks that it didn't pull from. So Starchild wins, Llewellyn does not. Okay, I'm going to try not to, I've got 3 decks here, which is going to be awkward. We're going to have to figure that out. Okay, I'm going to just like touch. Deck 1, touch. Deck 2, okay. And I have, this is going to be an easy one, I can tell you right now. I have the Fountain Tarot. I've got a dog in my lap. He's like, hey mom, it's 7:05. Why aren't you prepping my dinner yet? Why not? He eats at 7:30, but he starts getting real excited. You can see his face. Look at his face. He is a little diabetic guy. That's like new for us. He's now insulin dependent. So he eats at a very particular, he's just staring at me, a very particular schedule. I love the Fountain Tarot. Love it. This was actually, until I think the Fairytale Tarot, this is probably one of the decks that I spent the most money on individually. Don't quote me on that. I could be wrong, but I think this was one of my most expensive. And I think this might have been my first indie deck. Maybe not. No, because I think I got this on Amazon. There's a couple, I can't remember. I'll have to make a video about that. There was definitely a deck I bought first. Independent. Hi, buddy. I know you want dinner. We're almost done. That one wins. I already know what's in the other bag, but I'll show it to you. It's really cool. It's another deck that I just have not jived with yet. This is the Impressionist Tarot by Lo Scarabeo, and the cards are made to look like picture frames, and the backs look like the back of a picture frame, like it was hanging up. He's literally licking my arm right now. Hi, buddy. It's almost dinner time, but not yet. This is Impressionist art, inspired by artists like Van Gogh, and there's like 4 or 5 main inspirations that you'll see in the minors. Beautiful deck. I thought at first this was actually reproductions of original art. It is inspired by, but the images are carefully painted to depict the imagery of the tarot. So they aren't just like happenstance matched up. Excuse me, they're actually painted for the tarot. Really, really pretty. I got this like on a discount, and I'm super glad I have it. I think it's super unique, but I don't reach for it very often. It's one I really need to get to know. I do really, really like that card. Just the reflection of a guy in water. And it's 12. What is 12? Why am I drawing a blank? Temperate? No. I have to look it up. I'm usually really good with my Roman numerals, but I totally spaced. Okay. Anyways, that one can't win, unfortunately, against the Fountain, but I do like it. I do like it. And my last deck, which I guess I'm just going to show you, I feel like I had an even number, and now I have an odd number, so there's probably one I left out somehow. But we're just going to pick a winner or loser pile for this one, and I'm going to be honest, since it's not up against anything else. This was a deck I commented on a video from a video by Simon at Herman's Cave literally this afternoon about. He just did a walkthrough of this deck. This is Tarot of a Moon Garden. Yeah, Tarot of a Moon Garden. Really pretty. The minors, let's see if I can just grab one. Yeah, the minors are kind of pippish. So the wands show trees. That's the devil. The swords show these sort of swords with like dragonflies, like swordy dragonflies. I was commenting that I needed a pip deck, and then Simon posted about this deck, and I was like, oh, I own a pip deck, or a pip-ish deck. I should play with that. I haven't been pulling from it. I got this deck for $4. Somebody on Facebook was getting rid of it, and I was like, hey, I live 5 minutes away. I'm going to come pick that up from you right now, and I'm super glad I have it. I picked it up before it started showing up on YouTube, so I felt like I was one of the people that like discovered it, even though I'd never have used it. It's literally brand new. It's like still slippery. So whoever I got it from had never really used it either. Like it was still in order. Anyway, I'm going to put this in the winner pile. I feel like that's honest. I don't know what it's up against. I wish I knew. There might be I'll dig through. If I can figure out what deck it should have been up against, then I'll make a decision and for the next video so that I can have it in the right pile. But for now, it's going in winter because I really want to get to know pip decks better. So there it goes. And that is it. I'm in like just under an hour, so this is stupid long. If you hung in this long, that's awesome. If you want to join in and you want to put it in parts, or again, just like take your top 20 and whittle them down, or your top 10. I started with 36 decks and then whittled them down. So that took a little bit of time. Plus I was showing them to you and babbling at you, but I was really excited to come up with this. So hashtag tarot knockouts if you decide to participate, but at the very least comment below, and especially don't forget to comment below if you know what Marseille deck I own. I know it's a reproduction of some kind, and I know the language has been changed to English, but I'd like to know which one it's based on so I can maybe do a little bit of lookups about it and learn more. Anyway, I'm going to put this up tonight, so if you get a chance to see it, that's great. Have a great night, and I hope you'll join me again soon. I'm going to try to get another video up in another couple of days. Take care and have a great night.